However, I'll send that to anybody that wants it.
Well, I'm not running for office. You can do whatever you want.
I'll tell you what though, Larry, if you want, you want to talk about the process?
Sure.
Excuse me. Sure.
So, as you can see, I've just filled this pot here with little pieces of birch bark. And the next step will be put this lid on it, which as you can see has a spout on it with a hole. And what's going to happen here is once I get the lid on it, this can's going to get buried in the fireplace there, and the lid with the bark, or the can with the bark on, will be placed over it like that, and we'll build a fire over top of it. So basically, what you have is oxygen-starved combustion here, and in the process, the tar and the bark will render out and collect in the can here. So that's the plan.
Still have some left over.
Yeah, I still got some too.
All right, Larry, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so we pulled the
and the beer on the right's mine, not his.
we pulled the tar out of the fireplace here after a torrential downpour, and we got a fairly good yield. I'd say this can's maybe a third of the way full. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to.
Ooh, black gold.
Guess it's an acquired taste.
Oh, you tasting it?
Yeah.
How is it?
You know, it has sort of a...
Certain je ne sais quoi, huh?
Yeah, it's not horribly offensive, but...
Anything like a birch blister?
So there we have it.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of...
That's actually a pretty good yield, about maybe 4 ounces.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I've had better.
put something like
but no
molasses
complaints, you know, yeah.
What do you use it for?
Primarily as a wood finish.
Yeah.
I have used it as a bug dope.
Does it work?
As bug dope?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fairly effective? Or?
Yeah, actually.
Oh, way better than DEET.
If you ever
Is it?
seen,
Oh yeah, 100% better than DEET.
Huh.
have you ever seen that movie Happy People?
Oh, yes, yeah, and that's what they use.
They're
Yeah.
using, yeah.
Yeah.
I use it as I do. Yeah, and black flies works pretty good on black
A lady
flies.
that we know was over visiting me one day, and I had some of this on the counter. I was going to give it to her, and I mentioned that a friend of mine had smelled it and thought it was rather strong, and she says, "You need better friends."
I'll have to work up a little bit of that.
After the deluge.
Oh no, I've got some at home. I want to take your stock.
I got tons of it.
But my next
This is
build is,
this is the rig that rendered it that we were talking about a little earlier. So
we'll have another go at it in the morning.
yeah, that's cool though.
Whereabouts in the St. Croix River is it that you have been?
Where in the St. Croix?
Yeah.
Well, from Vassalboro. Vassalboro.
I was looking on the map and it's like, oh, I don't know, river.
Down
as
to
most of them are.
down. I don't know where we took out.
because the one video I was looking at and it's like kind of nice. It's not, you know.
It was.
See it.
They're saying this is actually one that you can see quite well as opposed to
You
the
know,
last appearance of Halley's Comet that was pretty abysmal.
this is kind of an interesting thing right here. You notice this line of lighter material down there?
Yeah.
That's water. And if you do a really hot run of this, you won't get that. And that's one of the, I was a little bit concerned that our fire wasn't long lasting enough or hot enough to avoid this, and there it is.
Yeah.
It's easy enough to get rid of, but just the same.
Huh.
So birch tar oil, being oil, is lighter than water.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool.
Europe, to my understanding, doesn't have anything that's like our maple, even though they have maples.
Yeah.
Maples are real common in Asia,
Huh.
but you know our Acer saccharum, they don't seem to have that, and I don't know why. They've got oak, and we've got oak, and you know, it's, for whatever, I don't know. And that's interesting what he was saying about the you know the spruce there. But then you look at the Sitka spruce is way different than our
Yeah. I bet it
our
almost
white and stuff like that.
that may be closer to a Sitka spruce.
Yeah. It's like Douglas fir is actually kind of an interesting wood to work with. If you enjoy that sort of thing. I'm not a real big fan of it, but it has its one of those things you can get in decent size.
I was renovating Bob's house that was built in 1813, and I broke through a section of the house and the roof to do a roof repair that hadn't been opened up since 1813. And in it was the original tar paper. Do you know what that is?
Birch bark.
Birch bark.
Birch,
Yeah.
birch bark so thin that they rolled it up on a stick about 1.5 inches in diameter, and the roll was probably 8 inches across.
Really?
Yeah. And that's what they used for underlayment for the shingles.
I found that in my shed when I was working on that one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool to find it like that, you know, just,
Seen it in old houses right here.
yeah.
Yeah, right, corner boards.
That looks good.
Thing is, birch has, I don't know what, some sort of toxins in it, you know, that helps protect the wood, and that's why, especially the bark, you know.
Well, it's that
we're
oil
obviously
right there.
rendering the stuff.
It's that oil.
Yeah, and I don't know what that's in that, you know, defies rot, but how many times you walk through the woods and you'll see a tube of birch bark and the wood is gone. And it's just this
And the bark
kind of
is
tube
Still there.
left. Yeah,
Yeah.
the stuff, you know, and that's why it's been used for, you know, the oil. It's been used as boxes and containers and everything else like that, because it is so handy in that regard.
And you know, and it's also kind of like a natural vortex.
Yeah.
Because the bark from the in going out is waterproof, but from the out going in is not.
Oh, interesting.
So that's why if you're building a birch bark canoe, you put the inside of the bark on the outside of the boat. You ever heard of Tom Wessels? Interesting guy. He had a lecture over at UMM a few years back, and then a walk in the forest the following day. And basically, what he's about is reading the forest, and it was really interesting. I mean,
Did he write the book? There's a book.
Yeah, he's got a couple of books.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, something about, you know, going through and, you know, when you see the clumps of maples, because of course they cut it and the suckers are what come up, and you know,
Yeah,
you only
you
get
see
3
like
leaves
a
usually.
forest where, you know, there's all these divots in the forest floor that are slightly higher on one side, and
Pillows and cradles.
yeah, exactly. And you know, it's like, okay, you know, we're guessing that this would be the hurricane of like 1888 or something, because the trees are all laying in the direction, you know, and the wind would have been coming from that direction. So that's what you're seeing the remains of here, and stuff like that is really cool, you know. And then, so in this area, we walked through the forest, and there were stones in the forest that had been quarried for their granite. You know, for making foundations or whatever. And then you'd come across a stone that hadn't been molested, and his take on it was that stone was of inferior quality, and they hadn't bothered with it because of that. So, interesting stuff.
You've ever been